Welcome back to the Face of Jesus series. Today we are on Mark chapter 8. But before we get to that, I'd like to ask you a quick question about last week. Last week we talked about having faith without sight. This can be hard. How did it go? You know, it can be hard, but I challenge you to keep doing this and keep having faith without sight. Now let's turn to Mark chapter 8 and verse 34, where it says, "When he had called the people to himself, with his disciples also, he said to them, 'Whoever desires to come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross and follow me.'" What does this mean? You know, it's kind of like hard. What does it mean to take up the cross, take up your cross and follow him? This means following him, whatever he wants you to do, to take up your cross and follow him. Have faith to do whatever he calls you to do. So I challenge you to do this. And now let's see what Anthony has seen about the faith of Jesus in Mark chapter 8.
Well, I found something really cool. But first, have you ever heard of the feeding of the 5,000? I bet you have. What about the 4,000? Well, that's what I found in Mark chapter 8, the feeding of the 4,000. And it says, "In those days, the multitude being very great and having nothing to eat, Jesus called his disciples to him and said to them, 'I have compassion on the multitude because they have now continued with me 3 days, and I have nothing to eat. And if I send them away hungry to their own houses, they will faint on the way, for some of them have come from afar.' And then guess what the disciples said? They said, 'How can one satisfy these people with bread here in the wilderness?' And he said, 'How many loaves do you have?' And he said, 7. So here we see how the disciples were not looking to, how can God do this? They were looking to themselves. How can we feed these people with bread in the wilderness? How is that possible? How can we ever do that? But Jesus, we see, he was looking to his Father in heaven. He had faith that his Father in heaven would turn the 7 loaves into enough to feed 4,000 people plus some fish. So that is, I found really interesting, the difference between the disciples looking to themselves. How can they do this rather than Jesus looking to his Father? And that's what we want. We want to look to Jesus and have his faith like he did here in this story.
Yeah, that's very good. That's very interesting. I want to challenge you today to take up the cross. Do whatever God is calling you to do and follow him and deny yourself. Follow what he wants you to do and take up your cross. So I challenge you to do that over this next week.
Yeah, subscribe, turn on your notifications, and don't forget our next episode. And remember to leave your thoughts about what you found in this chapter of 8, just chapter 8 of the faith of Jesus in the section below. All right, see you next time.
Bye.
Would you like to be encouraged? For amazing stories on prayer, true life miracles, and much more, please visit www.timetogetready.org.